Hello, Matthew Williams here to bring you my accent that you can't understand, apparently. Everybody's saying, fuck you, Williams, we don't understand your accent. This is coming from people that may be best described by their YouTube status as black, who are not happy that I've been saying that I can't understand the accents in the movie Black Panther. And they're entitled to their opinions, and let's have a look at what some of those opinions are. Let me see if I can find them. It says, I hope you know that African accents are beautiful, and it's your annoying accents that are awful, and I can barely understand what you're saying. Really? Okay, so let's have a look at this person and see where they're from and what they're about. And they don't have any content. Interesting. Yeah, okay. So we can't test this out, can we, by actually seeing any of your videos, to work out whether or not your accent is actually, you know, probably pretty much the same as mine, so therefore you're talking shit. But okay, whatever. And it says, you're just mad, same person, you're just mad there's finally a black superhero. No, actually I'm not, because there have been loads of black superheroes in films over the years. I mean, you know, you could take everything from Shaft which is a bit silly, I know, not a superhero, but you know, kind of like an out there character. Blade, you know, there have been and there's no restriction. Nobody in the world is saying you can't have black superheroes. Just for some reason Hollywood isn't making them. I mean, why would that be? I don't know. You know, there's enough black people integrated into American society, right, that are writing books and writing scripts and directing and acting. There's enough of these people out there. I mean, you know, look, James Earl Jones, you know, played the voice of Darth Vader. There's a black superhero, although he's an anti-superhero. You know, come on. You want black superheroes? Yeah? Get out there and make some fucking black superheroes. Yeah? I mean, stop waiting for Marvel to come along and do it. You're all jumping on like, yes, we've got our first superhero. Well, why the fuck didn't you write a few black superheroes? Why didn't you get some comics out there and make some stuff? You know, it's like everyone's going like, yeah, it's so great, you know, like we got a black superhero. I mean, is it great you got a black superhero? It's a very stereotyped superhero. I mean, if you're talking about you know, like you look at it, look at the movie, yeah, what are these black people doing in the movie? Yeah, are they highly advanced, kind of moved on black people who've moved on into a technological new era, or have they absolutely got to have the trappings of their old African, you know, sort of beliefs holding them down, you know, holding them back, and kind of making everything they do in their culture something to do with face painting and carrying spears, and, you know, the people that are sort of like the main protectors of the Black Panther, his, you know, royal guard, they carry spears. I mean, you know, wouldn't it be better to carry like a laser rifle? You know, throw the fucking spear away. The spear is not an efficient weapon. Yeah, I think people got through this over, you know, how many thousands of years of wars. They went from arrows, you know, up to, you know, cannons, and then guns, and then you know, and now it's kind of like lasers. Yeah, so why in the Black Panther is everyone so determined to, like, you know, wear a plate in their lips, you know, and kind of, you know, tattoos and stabbing themselves to make marks in their chest? It's almost like as if these are, and I'm not trying to be racist, yeah, I'm just saying this is how stereotyped this movie is, yeah, and why I think it's actually not really very good for this reason. It's stereotyping African people and saying, hey, well, if Africa went into space, all its spaceships would be made to look like spears, you know, and all its spaceships would be like, you know, they'd have beads around them, you know, and like be painted. We'd have to put tattoos on the spacecraft, you know, and kind of, why would you do that? There is graffiti on the walls of the city, and it's like, look, cultural graffiti on our walls of our city, and it's like, but it looks like graffiti art that you'd get on a New York subway train, you know what I mean? And it's kind of like, doesn't everybody see this is kind of like a parody? It's almost like a tongue-in-cheek, over-the-top parody of African culture, because yes, there is historical African culture, yeah, nobody denies this. It's wonderful. Welsh people, I come from Wales, we have a Welsh culture. We have these women who have these tall hats and like white bibs, and they wear black dresses, and they sit at spinning wheels spinning, you know. So but would you expect to see a Welsh superhero woman have a spinning wheel, you know, and like she spins it up and she's like, right, I got my spinning wheel, stay back otherwise I'll spin you, and it's like, fuck you, Welsh bitch, yeah. So what does she do? She spins up her spinning wheel. So she does it with her foot. She's like this with her foot, you know, sort of spinning wheel. Yeah, zoom, 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 zoom. And when the spinning wheel gets up to speed, it starts firing out needles, knitting needles. Yeah, that would be a cheesy fucking movie, wouldn't it? It would be pretty fucking cheesy. And you'd all go, who wrote this shit? Who wrote this shit? But when it comes to the Black Panther, it's like everyone's running around in spacecraft with fucking spears and fucking beads around their necks and like looking like they're out of the last fucking, you know, 500 years ago, you know? And everyone's going, no, that's fine. No, that's brilliant, because this is African culture brought into space. It's like, I think people left those cultures behind in order to get, you know, to where we are now. You revere them, you love them, yeah, I love them, I love African culture, but I just don't see it like, you know, getting into space with, you know, that sort of stuff. It's not relevant. It's not relevant in today's culture. It's not relevant in anything that we really do in modern society. So when you have a movie that comes along and says, oh, this kind of hidden culture, they're hidden, but they all run around with spears. But they've got laser weapons and they've got super technological weapons, but they run around with spears, and they've all got tattoos of like body stuff of how many kills they've got, you know, and it's like, you know, what else? How cheesy can you make it? How cheesy can you make it? You know, I mean, you take it one step further, they would have been cannibals as well, you know, like in order to get to be the leader of this society, you know, did they have to eat the brains of the fucking, you know, the guy that's been defeated? Like, you know, you have mortal combat, and whoever is the person who defeats the other person in combat, you know, he's got to eat the brains of the person he kills, you know. It's like, you know, come on, you know, you wouldn't want to see that, would you? You know, so it's kind of like you want to have all this historical baggage carried with you into a sci-fi movie with sci-fi spaceships, and you know, you want to try, you know, you're determined to forcibly blend those two things together, even though it seems kind of cheesy. It's just fucking cheese. I mean, like, and the thing is, people are complaining bitterly, saying, you know, oh, this is the black movie for black people. It's not the only black movie that's ever been produced, and it's not the only movie for black people. I would love to see more movies for black people by black people. Yeah, most of the crew that made this movie were white, yeah, with a black director. Yeah, you know, it's a token black director. All the fucking crew are white, or 95% of the crew that I could see from the making of documentary, they're all white, but a black director. It's kind of like, you know, it's trying to like gild the lily, you know. It's why are you kind of revering the fact that Hollywood has kind of like thrown you a little bone, you know? I think that black people and black culture have had a hell of a lot of promotion in society, and rightly so too, because they have a right, so does everybody else. So where's the Chinese superheroes? Well, of course, if you go to China, there are movies of China's superheroes, but where's the Hollywood China superhero? Why hasn't Hollywood thrown a bone to, create a Chinese... See, you see, it's how unfair it is. Black people are going, yeah, we've got one now. We've got one, haha. And it's like, yeah, all right, where's the Chinese Hollywood superhero? Or have I missed it? I don't know. Maybe I've missed it. You'll probably remind me to go, oh, Matt, you forgot this movie. But where's the Aboriginal Australian? Where's the Australian, superhero? The Aboriginal man. Where's his movie? He's never had a movie depicting him as some sort of superhero or the master, with weapons and, don't come near me. I'm the daddy. Yeah, it's like where's his movie? You see, I mean, black people are going, yeah, like as if this is some sort of birthright to have a bloody comic book movie depiction of a bloody Marvel character. I mean, it's not like they made a movie about Africa and African culture and it's a fucking Marvel comic. It's for kids and adults, I suppose, that like those sorts of things, but I mean it's mostly geared towards kids, and then remembered and held in their heart and loved by adults, but it's for kids, yeah. And yet adults, like black adults, are going, yeah. Do you know what? I think they missed the point, really. They have had plenty of movies made for them in the past and will do into the future, and I hope more movies. Yeah, I hope the ratio gets higher. Yeah, but if you're going to do things in a way that is palatable to the people from the country that you actually live in, yeah, I just refer you back to The Lion King. Yeah, it was a movie that everyone loved, one of the highest grossing box office cartoony movies of all time. It's about Africa. It's an allegory of royal families, which somebody said, oh, you're forgetting the royal families, and it's like, well, I'm not. I'm not actually forgetting the royal families at all. It's an allegory for sort of power and deceit, and it's got all these sorts of things. It's set in Africa, and do they speak like this? And hello, Simba, come here. How are you? Come here, Simba. I tell you, that guy Scar, he a bad man. He's a bad man. Yeah, they don't speak like that for some reason, and it seemed to work quite well. I mean, I think it did pretty well in the box office. Everyone loved it. Nobody complained about the fact that they couldn't understand the voices or why were they done like that. It's just called theatre. It's theatre. This is what it is. Now, I apologise for upsetting a lot of people by saying I don't like the accents. That doesn't mean I don't like African people, and I don't like the fact that they have a very distinct accent. It's just, does it work in theatre and on the big screen? Because your audience for this movie was primarily supposed to be Americans and Westerners that speak English, because it's an English movie. So, you didn't have James Earl Jones in fucking Star Wars doing fucking, I am your father. Yeah? He didn't demand to do that, did he? Just because he's a black guy, yeah? And he's out in space and it's all technological, but he's a black man, so why didn't he demand, sorry George Lucas, I demand that my culture, I want to have tattoos on me, I want Darth Vader to have tattoos, I want him to have lots of body modifications to show how many people he's killed, and it's like, and I want to do it in my accent, I'm not doing it in an American accent, even though my naturalized American accent is in fact quite a soft American, deep voiced accent. No, I demand to do it in African. No, because it doesn't work very well. Okay, they are an African culture, but it's still it's still hard to understand. You know, if they've moved on technologically, so much, you'd think they'd have thrown the spears away, thrown the tattoos away, you know, thrown a lot of that stuff away, because it's kind of your history, but it's not necessarily where you are today. Yeah, and that part of that might have meant that the voice might have softened out a little bit. Softened just a teeny bit. No, apparently not. Thicker than ever. Thicker than ever. So okay, that's an editorial choice. They chose to go down that line. Good. You know, it's a movie I didn't enjoy. If you enjoyed it, and if you could understand it, if you could understand what they were saying, good on you. Yeah, go and watch that movie, make it billions. It didn't work for me. I thought it was cheesy. I thought that they hammed it up. You know, some of the script was so basic. It was literally like, "Hello, how are you? I'm okay. And you? Yes, I'm okay." You know, it's like, is that it? Is that it? This is it, really. You know, it struck me as just contrived, very contrived. And you know, my main point is, look, come on. You're all screaming and shouting that it's racism if you take the piss out of this movie. No, I would rather than Black Panther, I would rather see an Aboriginal superhero. You know, like, but would I really want to see this Aboriginal superhero if Hollywood said, yeah, we're going to make it about an Australian Aboriginal. Right, what have we got to do? And they've got a list of things that have to be in the movie. You know, well, he's got to be black. Why does he could be an Aboriginal, you know, a guy who came in like wasn't even Aboriginal. He could have been like somebody who came across the sea from China and lived in the Aboriginal tribes and became part of the tribe. So he's a Chinese Aboriginal. Why is it, you know, see, the criteria has to be, he's got to be a dark-skinned Aboriginal guy. Yeah, he's got to have a spear. He's got to have a boomerang. His sidekick has got to be a totem animal, koala, a kangaroo. You know, it's like it's like you start off. It's must have this, must have this, must have this, must stereotype him. Must stereotype him, must stereotype him, and you just go down the list, and by the end of it, you've got this bulked up guy who's got, you know, a kangaroo, a fucking, you know, a bloody boomerang. He's got a boomerang that is made out of a sort of super steel that's got jets on it, that when he throws it, it goes at 1,000 miles an hour and can cut through aircraft, can cut through you know, can cut through mountains. You know, it can literally go through a mountain and keep going and come around the earth and come back, and then he can catch it in his hand. You know, and it's like, but it's gonna be cheesy on those levels, because it will be written into silly stereotypes that, even though it's modern day and even though he's got all these technological advances, yeah, he will have had to have made them with a historical culture basis. That means, you know, that there's some sort of backstory, background. You know, he lives in a mud hut, or he lives in a cave, or he doesn't live anywhere. You know, he's got to be in the outback. He's got to be this is the only superhero who fights crime by disappearing for 20 years into the outback. That's how he fights crime. You know, he hasn't got any weapons. When danger comes, he goes into the outback for 20 years and you don't see him. And then when he comes out, the danger has gone away. It's like a superhero, you know, who doesn't use fucking weapons, who just goes away. And then it fucking, you know. So, okay, what about, like, we've got Chinese. What about, like, a pygmy Indians, you know, South American, you know. Oh, are they from South America? I can't remember. But, you know, pygmy. So, short guy. And his, you know, so it's stereotype it now. You know, he's got to be cannibal. Ooh, that might be a, oh, you know, that might be a bit touchy, but maybe he somehow, you know, threatens people that he will eat their heads or something. Ooh, it's a bit touchy, but we'll keep it in there anyway because it is part of culture. I don't know. He's got a pipe blowing, so his guns don't have triggers on them, and he doesn't have yeah, he might have a bow and arrow. Yeah, he could have a bow and arrow, but he's probably pipe guns. When he goes like this, it fires out a rocket launcher missile that can penetrate universes and destroy stars. So it's like, and then what else does he do? Well, he's quite short. So he's not going to be able to do a proper fist fight with somebody unless he's got like mechanical super armor, you know. So we'd have to have a body armor suit which will like make up for the fact that he's small. But basically it would be too cheesy if he was trying to fight in a small. Oh fuck! Somebody's at the door. You get the idea, right? Okay. So thanks very much. Cheesy. Fuck off.